Meeple Nation Podcast, episode 573, games with multi-use cards that we don't own.
Welcome, citizens, to Meeple Nation. Grab your favorite beverage, pull up a chair, warm up those dice, and join us at the game table as we discuss board games and the board gaming world. Each week, the hosts of Meeple Nation share their love for board games and the amazing memories that come from playing games with some very outstanding people. Let us now join our hosts in their natural habitat, the game table.
This week wraps up our look at games featuring multi-use cards. We're focusing on highly rated titles that have yet been added to our collections.
I like that have yet, because
we know Nathan.
Oh.
they'll get there eventually.
They'll get there.
So as a reminder, multi-use cards, they offer strategic depth by allowing a single card to serve multiple purposes in the game. And these purposes can include acting as text-based abilities, resources, life counters, or even determining player order, as well as many other options. So come join us at the game table as we discover games with multi-use cards that we do not yet own.
Very nice. The Meeple Nation podcast is sponsored by Game Toppers. We love our toppers, and we know you will love them too. Go and check them out. They are an amazing solution. You can throw them on top of just about any surface. They come in a wide variety of sizes, and they are made out of some of the best material out there. Powder-coated military-grade aluminum. They have 3mm thick mats that fit down, that recess down into every table with a stitched edge. Some of the best art on those mats in the industry. In fact, I sometimes tell people, like, you guys own a lot of these tables. I custom built my table before I had heard of Game Toppers,
right.
But the internal dimension of my table fits perfectly. It's a 4x4 table, and they make a 4x4 mat. So I have, like, at this point, 7 or 8 of Berkey's mats. Phenomenal. They are absolutely wonderful. In fact, I even picked up a couple extra so that I can take them to conventions and put on tables, because at this point, I almost don't even want to play games unless I am playing on one of those mats.
We're kind of snobs that way, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit, but once you kind of get accustomed to it, it's hard to not have that, really.
Especially when you go to a convention and there are usually 2 tables put together that have the gap and those tablecloths that slide everywhere.
Yep, 100%. Yeah. Throw a mat down and enjoy your stay. Go check out Game Toppers and go to GameToppersLLC.com and just start to peruse. They've got all kinds of stuff, and they're coming out with all kinds of new stuff. Berkey's an innovator. That's what he does. And he's always looking to try to solve new problems, and that's what he does. He has new products that solve problems. He's got new storage solutions for your mats. He's got dining leaves that go on all the tables. Like I said, all kinds of sizes and fits. There's pieces and parts and accessories. You can really bling out these tables, or you can just get something simple that solves a simple problem. It's really up to you, but please go check them out at GameToppersLLC.com.
We are the hosts of Meeple Nation. I'm Nathan Howard.
I'm Andy Holliday.
And I am Douglas Stewart.
We are the world's most Okayest podcast, and we have the most Okayest webpage. Go there. We have links to all of our past episodes, and if you go to those episodes, we now include our show notes on those episodes, so if there's games that we talk about, you can find them all there. We have bios, and there's our Instagram, Facebook, X, and our Discord link. Our Discord, our Discord channel has been growing, and there's a lot of conversations that are going on there, from BGA games to episode topics, all sorts of stuff going on there. And of course, we have on our website our Patreon link. Our patrons help us keep the podcast going and help us progress from where we were to where we can be. And so we are very excited for our patrons. We appreciate them. So if you would like to be a patron, please jump over to our website and click on that link and become a patron of the Meeple Nation podcast.
All right, it's that time. It's Highlight 30. Let's see what we've all been playing. What game experiences have you guys had recently?
So just the other day, my wife and I pulled out an oldie but a goodie. It's not really that old, but at the pace at which we sometimes go through games, it feels like it's an oldie.
Yeah.
We pulled out Azul Summer Pavilion. I like all of the Azul games. Summer Pavilion is my wife's favorite.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the one that she likes the very, very most. So it was her turn to pick, so she busted that one out, and we got it played. And I love that game. Azul's great, and all of its different flavors are great. Those pieces are really tactile. In this case, they're kind of that diamond-shaped piece rather than the square starbursty kind. But I really like the puzzle of Pavilion. I like how everyone drafts, and then you kind of take turns placing stuff out onto your board. I like the scoring synergies as you're trying to fill in each one of those sort of wheels with the different colors. I like how the game pushes you to fill, you can fill in like each one of the wheels for bonus points if you can complete an entire wheel,
right?
But also spreading yourself out, like getting all the ones, all the twos, all the threes, something like that. That's also a viable scoring option, because you can get a lot of points by just, working parts of all the different wheels. So there's, multiple avenues you can kind of play it in different ways. And, I really like it. The Azul's great. We don't talk about Azul very often. We don't talk about really any of them very often anymore. But it was a great opportunity to bust out one of those Azul games and play it. And I was like, yeah, that's great. I mean, about 30 minutes to play.
Yep.
So, doesn't take a whole lot of time. Super easy to set up. I mean, you basically hand everyone a board, put those little discs out in the middle, fill them up, and you're playing. That's, you're off to the races.
So you said Summer Pavilion's your wife's favorite. What's your favorite Azul version?
The original is great. I think my personal favorite, it's been a little while since I played it, but it was the second one. And now now I'm kind of embarrassed that yes, Sintra. Thank you. Stained Glass. Yeah. Couldn't remember the title of it, but I think that one, is probably my personal favorite. I really liked that one.
Yeah, I agree. That's my favorite one. Summer Pavilion, the base game, and Azul Duel were all available on BGA, and those
nice.
Implementations are all really good. Those are games that my wife and I are continually playing.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't feel bad about getting an invite to any of those. That sounds great. And I would like to play Queen's Garden again. I only played it the one time.
Yeah.
Really liked it. It's definitely more of a gamer version.
For sure.
Of Azul. Definitely. It kind of it almost kind of sits in its own category. It's a little bit aside from the first three just because it is so gamery in my mind.
Agreed.
But I only played it the once. And I loved it. I really did love it. I liked it quite a bit, but I was also taught it. I have a copy, but I was taught it, and I couldn't say that I can remember the rules off the top of my head. So I almost need somebody to reteach it to me in order to play it again.
It's been downstairs on our table. My wife has wanted to play it several times, and but yeah, it's one that, I mean, I think I played it with you.
Yes. It was at SaltCON. My daughter taught it.
Yeah. And she did a great job.
She did. Yeah.
When she gets back, she should teach us again.
Yeah. Okay.
So she remembers it.
I'm going to add it to her list. All right, honey, now that you're home, you've got work.
You've got some work. So you guys both had the opportunity to talk about this game. So
your turn.
Now it's my turn. We've been playing Elder Scrolls, Betrayal of the Second Era, and you guys were both very excited. You both kickstarted it, and you have your copies, and I am just leeching off of both of you and loving every minute of it. This game is superb, in my opinion. We played Too Many Bones at BGG. I've played it a couple of times. I really enjoyed Too Many Bones, but this took that element, that theme, that mechanic, and just elevated it to the mountaintops, right? This game is phenomenal, and I have very, very much enjoyed my plays with this. And I'm looking forward. We still need to finish we have 2 missions left, and they're little mini campaigns, right?
Yeah.
So they don't take a ton of time to complete, but still just having that opportunity to start one of those and to get back to that and complete it is something I'm super excited about. But yet we haven't completed it yet. So
not yet.
So just like any of our other campaigns, it's we got it partially done and haven't gotten back to it.
Well, I think this is a little more manageable with it only being 3 sessions to finish a campaign. So we just need to get it. Honestly, if I've noticed one thing with our campaigns, if we just schedule it, hey, this is the day we're playing, it seems to happen a little more easily. So I think that's what we got to start doing to get bust through some of these campaign games. Yeah.
And then when I don't make us record every week because somebody pushed out multiple episodes in 1 week.
Well, there is that.
Making extra work for us.
So speaking of campaign games, last week at game night, we were able to play Aeon Trespass Odyssey. We had started a campaign of this years ago, 2 years ago maybe, and we just stopped playing. So going back to what I said, we're going to schedule it. We started anew with a new group, and we have scheduled session number 2 already.
Awesome.
And we're going to get through this. Not only that, we're going to try to get through all of the cycles. So I believe there are 5 cycles, and Justin is teaching us, and he says he's played it quite a few times, but he's only ever played through cycle 1.
Okay. So the new cycles will be new to him too.
They will be, yeah.
So he's excited.
So if we can get through and just kind of make this a continuous effort to get through these this campaign, and because there's 2 huge boxes for this game. The story's kind of it is interesting. So you're the Argonauts, but you have found a way to control the Titans, because the world has been invaded by the Primordials, which are way bigger and way more powerful than the Titans. And we figured out how to basically control the Titans to fight the Primordials. So you team up, each character controlling a Titan, fighting the Primordials, and then also you have the story mode where you're going and traveling on the Argo. As the Argonauts, you're on the Argo, going from city to city. You're trying to gain alliances with some of the different factions. Although, as you gain favor with one faction, you typically are going to drop favor with another faction, the ones that are opposing each other. Anyway, so there's kind of some cool story going along with it. There's leveling up. There's some character development. You get Titans with different powers. You kind of start with some vanilla Titans at the beginning of the game. As the game goes on, you can start getting more unique, more powerful Titans. But the Primordials, every time you defeat them, they level up. They become more powerful and more difficult to defeat. So I'm excited to play this. I'm excited to really get into it, to just really experience what this game's all about.
Excellent.
Nice. Yeah, I was in on that first campaign that we started, and I really liked it. So I guess maybe if someday in the future we play it again, I don't know. I probably won't ever get to play this one, but
I hope so.
We'll see. Yeah, it's super great. I mean, I really like it. It's the art and components on this one were super impressive. So,
yeah, the sculpts on this, the minis are just crazy good too.
But you can't play them all.
No.
So
yeah.
All right.
So let's go into this list. So this list of games is, I went to BGG and put in the multi-use card mechanic, and I wanted to get games that had at least 2,000 ratings and that were anywhere from 7 to 10 on the scale of awesomeness, and it kicked me out a list. But before we get to that list, I also asked on our Discord channel and got some feedback for some people of what their favorite multi-use game was. So Corey brought back a lot of nostalgia for me, and he said, my favorite multi-use card game is the old Decipher Star Wars customizable card game, and which is probably the game that actually brought me back into the board gaming hobby. And but in that game, you use your deck as your resources, your life. Everything is all based in this 60 card deck. And it was a mechanic that he says he really liked, and I totally agree with him. And he goes on and he says, I wish there was other games that used a similar mechanic. Too bad this game is long gone. Talanis Island continued off that and said, that's a blast from the past. Great game. Actually heard they're still running tournaments for this game, which... Yeah,
like some of those old games have real followings, right?
Really?
And if you if you can find the communities out there that are keeping these games alive, I mean, there are people out there.
Oh, man.
So Netrunner is a game that I really like. And I have like a copy of like the base box or whatever, but they release tons of content for Netrunner, right. Like tons and tons. And, but it's all out of print. You can't find it like at all unless you stumble across it by some miracle and buy it secondhand. But there is an entire community out there that still is like, you can still, custom print the cards, and they still do tournaments, and there's all kinds of stuff going on. So it sounds like kind of a similar thing, but yeah, if you stumble across the right communities, these old games are still alive and well.
Yeah, I would have loved to still play some of that Star Wars. I mean, I ended up throwing away, which was really sad to do, because I was like, I had shoe boxes, those card organizers. I had probably had 25 shoe boxes full of Star Wars cards, and just ended up throwing them away. Most of them. I kept 6 of every card, and then in a double shoebox sized, and then just threw the rest away, which is really sad. I wish there had been a community nearby or somebody I knew who was playing it that would have loved to take them, but as such, they got thrown away. But going back to Talana Cylon, goes on that I haven't played Lorcana, but I thought the layout looked very similar to a Star Wars customizable card game.
Yeah.
And so we kind of looked at Lorcana a little bit, mostly as an investment.
When they first announced that they were doing Lorcana, I was all in. I wanted to play it and collect it. I was like, okay, like I'm in on this. Like I'm gonna deep dive and really go all in on Lorcana, because I mean it looked awesome, and yeah, from a collectible standpoint and investment standpoint, I was like, okay, this is one I think I could get behind. And I ordered a ton of stuff, like hundreds of dollars worth of stuff for that first wave, and every last scrap of it got allocated.
Yeah,
and none of it showed up.
Yep.
Hundreds of dollars of pre-ordered stuff, not one thing showed up, and I was like, it's a sign, I'm out.
Yep.
And I really was like fully out, like out. And I have not touched it or looked at it since. So
and has that fizzled? I haven't really even heard anything about Lorcana.
I think there's some people who still play it. Yeah. And they're still releasing sets and stuff for it. I think there's people, honestly, and I like, I'm not saying this cause I got the shaft on that, but like, I think they did that to a lot of people when the game first started. Oh, yeah. It really underproduced in that allocation, that all that process. Like, it was really unfortunate for them, because I actually think that they lost a lot of people right out of the gate.
Yeah. They lost a huge opportunity to have something that could have been phenomenal.
Yeah. I don't even think they understand how many people they lost because of how poorly it was rolled out.
Yeah.
So unfortunate.
And then Soap to Bop from over in London, or over in England, said, on the subject of multi-use cards, I'd like to nominate SETI, which we talked about last week, that hopefully we're going to get the chance to get played here really soon. They said the cards have definite uses that can also be exchanged for resources, free actions, scan, tuck, and card effects. Very impressive. I also really like the card game Windmill Valley, which, Andy, you have that one.
I do. It's a great game.
Yeah, and that was a game that you got playing, and before the game was even finished, you had ordered it. They go on that the assistant cards can be used for ongoing game bonuses or in-game bonuses. There is always one initial assistant left over, which doubles as the Queen's contract on their verse 2, which is neat in their opinion. So yes, there's a lot of multi-use cards out there that people really like. And then also a quick clarification, thanks to our Discord channel, Andy, we talked about Castle Combo, and I taught it to you, and I taught it that you got stuck in a row, that you were stuck in that row and you had to spend a key to go to the other row. But Corey reminded me that there is an option that you can get rid of a key to wipe your current row and replace it with 3 new cards. And so that's a pretty key point that you didn't like about the game, that you got stuck with some bad rows. And so that's something that maybe I need to try to get it to the table again. I don't know if you really like that game anyway.
I think not being able to clear the row ruined the game for me. So
well, you had kind of a rough night that night anyways. I beat you in every game and made you cry a little.
I'm just not used to that.
Losing,
No, Nathan winning.
I get that.
Yeah. It's like, you know what? Maybe I should just go home.
Yeah. And you did. Actually went to the gym, but
eventually, yeah. No, I actually did like the game. I just think it was frustrating when it's like, okay, everything was coming up Nathan that game.
Yeah.
Everything was,
yeah.
And there were just cards that were garbage for me. And I'm like, well, this game would be fixed if you could clear the row. So the key to that game is to spend a key and clear the row.
I see what you did there.
Sounds like understanding the rules is real key.
It is. Thanks. I'm sitting right here.
No, it's one I would definitely play again, especially with that rule being in place. I think it would be a lot more fun because you can find the cool combos that you're looking for more easily.
Yeah. And so when Corey said that, I was like, I don't remember reading that on anywhere. And so I started a game with him on PGA.
Was it in a box?
I can't remember. It might have been. But I started a game with Corey and I'm like, oh, yep, sure enough, right there. You got option to move to the other row or wipe the row. So Whoopsie.
Well, just because it's on BGA doesn't mean it's actually in the rule book. So you may want to check in the actual rule book, because that's just pretend gaming. So
Just pretend gaming.
They have gotten it wrong in a few things.
Yeah, I mean, we've had
Every now and
issues.
then I do come across something and I'm like, ooh, that's definitely not how that works.
Yeah, I mean, and they have early iterations of
Yeah,
games
they have
and
their alphas and betas.
yeah, and that's why I'm one of their alpha. I can sign up for all their alpha games, and
you are an alpha gamer.
no, definitely not.
Hey, you just said it, self-proclaimed.
Okay, I don't
Can't
know
take
how
it
to
back.
reword that
No.
to make that not true,
That's,
but you are right.
So let it be written, so let it be said.
Yeah. So that is done. I'm the alpha gamer, but I am in their alpha gaming group, and there are quite often that you run into issues that a game just doesn't quite work out right.
Yeah.
That's why they have the alpha and the beta process, so that when it gets hopefully released, that they can fix some of those. Like we ran a Blood Rage had issues, and Deliverance had issues.
Deliverance had major issues. Yeah. Yep,
Yeah.
it did.
And I need to start another Deliverance game.
We need to play it at the table,
Yeah.
because you're not getting a good experience. The other thing too is they're trying to recreate the sort of one-off game experience, and that game is way better as a campaign.
Okay.
Yeah, you need to play by the campaign rules.
Sounds good. All right, so let's get back to our list. The top multi-use card games. So this is a list of 50 to 60 games here. So we can just go through and kind of cherry pick games that we want to talk about, games that maybe we didn't talk about in the last episodes. So like right off the top of the list here is Dune Imperium. And for some reason, none of us talked about Dune Imperium. And
No.
Yeah, that's kind of weird that we didn't.
I talked about Arnak and I talked about Paleo Americans, but yeah, I didn't talk about. And I kind of lump this one in with those two because they're those deck builder worker placement games that I like. I love Dune Imperium. I think okay. So here's okay. I'll give you the short version. I went through and took everything out, like everything for Dune Imperium, both expansions, Uprising, and the new, is it Bloodlines? Yeah, that just came out. And what I did was I kind of converted everything over so that Uprising is now, because Imperium, it has that really nice deluxe box.
yeah.
The storage solution or whatever. So I kind of swapped everything out so that now Uprising is the default game in there. And again, I go back to just the really ridiculous release of these products that it's bizarre.
Yeah.
But I started swapping everything out because there are some things from the original Imperium that you can keep in there. But as I was going through and kind of reading the internet on what people suggested and everything, basically how it ends, you basically take most of the Imperium stuff out.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You take
I
about,
still haven't played
take about 90%.
Uprising.
Yeah. You take about 90% of it out and it's just, you just don't play it anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You
I
just
need to
use
try it.
Uprising, but I actually do think that Uprising is a better experience.
I agree.
And so like now that I have it like fully integrated with the expansions and the new stuff and it's all kind of ready to go, that's one that we could play sometime. We need to play that one.
Yeah, I would really like to get that.
You know, speaking of multi-use cards for Dune Imperium or Dune Imperium for Uprising, I think that I really actually enjoy that aspect of the game because as you're purchasing cards, it's a deck builder, right? As you're purchasing cards, usually you're like, okay, a standard deck builder. Oh, this card does this one thing. I'm going to try to make an engine or do whatever. But you have that multi-use where if you play the card and use it for its effect, or when you choose to, I can't remember the term, but rest, essentially, you get to play the rest of your cards in hand that you have left in your hand, and then you get to activate the abilities at the bottom of the card. And a lot of times I find myself purposefully buying cards for that bottom effect more so than the text that you actually happens when you play the card on your turn, especially because you can get some of those combos that work out really well, in particular if you're trying to win the conflict on the board, because that's where you get a lot of your swords and everything else that will give you those extra conflict points and maybe push you up over the edge. And that's where a lot of points come from in the game, is through that conflict on Arrakis.
Great use of multi-use cards. You've got the icons off to the side that dictate, what the card can be like. If you're using it for your agent turn, it's what areas of the map can be activated.
Right.
You have the agent activation ability, and then I can't remember that phase, but you're right. It's where you can chuck all the, you just basically use everything that's left in your hand for its combat and other purchasing ability. But we just need to play it some more. I like this one.
Yeah, I would like to, like I said, I'd like to play the Uprising and get that experience because sandworms.
Yeah, gotta have sandworms.
Yeah, definitely.
A major part of Dune.
Yeah, you gotta have sandworms.
Have either of you played Lisboa?
No.
I have not.
Okay, this is one that like I'm semi-curious about it. I kind of I've heard fairly good things, and I think it might be a good game. So do you guys remember I think it was at BryceCon the one year, and we were next to a table and they set this up in the morning, and we're still playing it at like 10 o'clock that night.
Oh, really? I don't remember.
And
that.
it might have just been that group. I mean, it was a full 4 players, right? For a 1 to 4 player game. And the weight on this is like a 4.6. So this is a very heavy game, a very heavy Lacerda game. And like seeing them take all day to play it, I was like, okay, I'm interested. I'm not like Twilight Imperium 4th edition interested.
Right.
Like I do not want an all day experience playing this game at all. Like that. No, thank you. But there is kind of a part of me that still would like to play it. So maybe with like 2 or 3 players and where everyone can play and focus and get it done in couple hours. I don't know if that's feasible. That's why I'm asking, because I don't actually know how long this game takes. The BGG says it takes 60 to 120 minutes, which is probably wrong because it's almost always more than what's listed. But they were at it all day. Maybe they played it multiple times.
They could have. If I recall, either Julie or Claudine has this.
Oh, nice.
And certain members hate this game.
Oh, really?
That's right. Yeah.
I believe it. Claudine loves this game, and everybody else hates it.
Oh, that's right. I was going to say maybe there's a chance we could play it at our Hug a Meeplecon.
Maybe with Claudine,
but Claudine's not going to be there.
Oh, she's not. That's right.
So there is that's off the table. So maybe in October, Doug, we can get at Julie's house. We can get Lisboa to the table with Claudine, but nobody else apparently.
At least none of the hug ladies. Yeah.
So yeah, we'll look forward to that. I would.
That's a curse word, I guess.
That's what I heard. Yeah, but Claudine really likes it, and I think that would be. I have an interest in playing it. But if it's going to be a 12-hour game, I'm less interested. But I think if you get 2 or 3 of us into that, I don't think it will be a 12-hour game. It depends on how much table talk there is.
Well, this conversation has not inspired me to go out and buy it, but but it is still kind of on my radar.
Yeah. So one that is on my shelf of shame. It's out of shrink, Andy.
Really?
Wow.
It's out of shrink.
That's amazing.
It's opened, and I may or may not have put the rules in the Firefly box.
Nice.
But this is Lewis and Clark, The Expedition. This is one that I have very much interest in trying. There is a BGA implementation, so that is also pushing my interest to get this played and get it to the table. But something like that where if I can get my wife to play it, it is a heavier game, 3.3, but and it lasts it has a 120-minute play time. But if the basic understanding is simple enough that I could get her to play, I would love to get that to the table and then play it again online to see if it plays well. But this is an exploration. There's a lot going on this board, and I started the rules, but I haven't gotten through the rules. But it's your explorers from the Missouri to Oregon, and trying to be the most successful explorer. But 1 to 5 players, which is nice. The board looks really nice. Pieces look, you got your nice wooden meeples, but I am excited about this, and I would like to get it to the table, and maybe I'll pull the rules back out of the Firefly box and go through them. But I got a large stack of boxes that I keep taking downstairs to get with Cheryl to play. And then they all get mixed in. Then with her infusions, she doesn't play as much as she used to. So, but anyways, so I am excited. Hopefully, maybe one or both of you would be interested in playing this with me once I get it figured out.
Sure.
Very nice. Now, correct me if I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
Okay, great. Well, that settled that.
All right. Moving on.
No, I believe on your table of incoming games that's turned into just kind of just looking over there right now. Yeah, it's just kind of the catch-all for everything coming and going out of the game.
Because we're setting up some video here.
At some point, I thought I saw a new copy of Lagrange,
yeah.
whatever.
That's actually behind you.
Oh,
now.
is it? Okay. So tell me about that one. Because that's another one that's been on my radar that I would really like to try.
So this is one, this is a reprint that they've done of this. And I played this years ago. And I haven't played it since. And I actually bought a copy and then sold it and then bought it again. Haven't sold it again yet, but
okay.
But this is one that I would like to get to play. It's click on it here. It's a good skin. It's in that range that you talked about, that 3.5.
Yeah.
And plays in that 120 minutes. This is I'm trying to remember if Lagrange is not El Grande. I was confusing Lagrange and El Grande. I haven't played Lagrange, but I picked it up because I would like to play Lagrange. And so I don't have anything other than I have it.
Okay. So,
because I have an interest in it and
I have an interest in it and you have an interest in it.
We should put that interest together.
When our interests combine, we pop the shrink off of the game.
Whoa. Slow your roll.
It's the first step, Nathan.
Is it the first step?
It is the first step.
I thought watching a video was the first step.
No, heavens no.
Maybe.
You don't watch a video until you actually have opened it up to experience the unboxing.
The unboxing smell?
Yeah. That's the first
I
step.
do love that smell.
Yeah.
Well, the first step is you have to want to. And
I have plenty of want to. I just have a lot of want tos.
you gotta start,
That's the problem.
You got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Maybe channel your want to acquire into want to learn how to play.
They're both equally there.
I know.
There is no lack of I don't want to play. I don't want to hold them just to hold them.
Really?
Yeah, really. I have every intent to play every game that I own.
Okay.
But
sure.
Reality is reality. I can't always get to them all. Corey moved back to Jersey, so he was taking games and teaching them all the time.
I'm just still seeing Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Friends and Frenemies over there that's still in shrink. And
Yeah, that one might stay in shrink.
There's so many games in shrink in this room.
I don't want to be wasteful.
okay.
All right. Okay.
Wait, what?
I'm not sure exactly how that works, but
All that shrink just goes to the garbage if I take it off. Currently, it's serving a purpose still.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Why? What is
Keeping it fresh so that you can get that fresh game smell when you open it up.
When you finally decide to cull it, it's still brand new.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
The two go hand in hand.
Do they? Okay.
If you get it and if you can play it, great. And then if you can't play it, then maybe you cull it. And but anyways, Lagrange, I'll put it on the list. I'll bump it up the list.
okay, there we go.
So Imperial Settlers. This is Andy. What did we play in the airport after BGG?
Imperial Miners.
Imperial
Yeah,
Miners.
there's
Is this
Imperial Miners.
based in the same? No, this is
No.
completely different.
Yeah, it's an interesting game. I own this somewhere.
Oh, do you?
I may have loaned it out because I do not know where my copy is. I was gonna
Did you give it to Dave?
maybe
Because he had my Deep Blue forever, and he's like, I don't have it.
maybe I need to go over to his house and see if he has Imperial Settlers over there. Because if he does, I'm sure it's my copy. Yeah, I have this somewhere. It's maybe like a lot of my movies people borrow and then I have no idea who did. And then sometimes they show back up and sometimes they don't. But it's a fun game. It's been a while since I played it. So you're playing on, you have hexagonal tiles that you're playing on. You have different terrain types and you're building settlements. And that's all I remember about it.
This game had a lot of a big following for a long time. Everybody was very much raving about this game, and so I'm a little late to the rodeo about trying to get this played. But this is one that I would like to play. Although looking at the box looks very full. Kind of gives me well, maybe it's just this one picture where like Agricola, where there's just so much stuff that's overflowing in the game that never ends.
No, it's not really like that. It didn't have an Agricola feel to me at all.
That was just the one picture. This other picture looks better. Okay. Sorry, somebody's storage solution that made it look overflown.
No, I think it's a game you would probably enjoy.
Also, I think important to note that we're talking about Imperial Settlers, but there is a more recent version of this, Imperial Settlers Empires of the North, which is not an expansion. It is a standalone game.
Okay, re-implementation.
Yeah. So, okay. So here's my understanding now. I could be wrong, but from what I understand, so this is Ignacy Trevicek, who does these games. And I like Ignacy. He's kind of a funny guy. And I like listening to him. He does a podcast with Steve Bonacore. But they're sometimes, they have some fun like industry insights and some things. And he, I think is a rather talented designer, but this, I think that the Imperial Settlers is sort of an evolution. It's definitely not like an exact copy, but I think it's a kind of an evolution of what was sort of started with 51st State.
Oh yeah, I'm seeing that right here. That re-implements 51st State.
So there you go.
Huh.
So I think, yeah. So I like, there's kind of a series of those games where some of those mechanics filter down into other games. So 51st State came first, and then there was Imperial Settlers, and then this Imperial Settlers Empires of the North is, I believe, the latest. That was 2019, so that's still been a while. But I believe that is the latest evolution of that particular system. So.
Yeah, this is one I would like to get to the table and try. The Roll and Write came out in 2019 as well.
Nice.
Highly rated though. Not that makes or breaks.
When did that ever stop anyway?
Yeah. But yeah. So Imperial Settlers looks pretty good. I would like to try it.
We'll have to see if we can find my copy.
Yeah.
Hunt it down.
You don't still have Kutnahora, City of Silver, kicking around somewhere?
No, I did end up calling that.
Okay. That was one I was really excited to play.
And
so we don't own it.
I did order it again.
But I want to try it.
Yeah, I can't remember if that was one that I ordered again. Because I have the coins for it right there behind.
No, you still have the coins for it?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, 7.8 on BGG with a weight of 3.3. That seems like a Doug kind of game.
This really excited me.
Yeah, I've heard good things about this. I would like to play this.
Yeah, and so I did too, and I'm pretty sure, let me go check my orders, see if I did order that again. Pretty sure I did. That was one that, yes. Yeah, it is on my reordered list.
Excellent.
So I had culling regret and tried to fix that.
Well, and apparently you still have some of the deluxe components. So
yeah, I got the coins over there. That's why I had to get it, because I had the coins. Got to go with it.
Right, exactly.
All right. What else is on here that
I own, and I've played it twice maybe, and that's Runestones. We didn't talk about it.
No, we didn't talk about it. I own that too somewhere. I've played it once.
Yeah, I think I played it twice. I think I played it twice the day I got it at SaltCON. I got it at SaltCON Spring, I think 3 years ago, something like that. In fact, it may have been when it first came out. But anyway, it's a fun game. The multi-use card part of it. So you on your turn, you're trying to basically craft gems, and so on your turn, if you choose to play cards, you play 2 cards. Each of those cards is going to have some sort of effect that's going to give you gems into your supply. However, there's also a unique number on each of those cards. And when you play 2 cards, you have to permanently get rid of whichever card has the highest number. So playing cards, you have to decide, okay, I'm going to have to lose one of these. Which one am I going to lose? And play your cards accordingly so that you're not maybe getting rid of a card that's a little more valuable. You want to keep it. You've got to play a higher numbered card so you can keep the cards you want, which is kind of an interesting mechanic to have in this game as you're trying to manage your hand of cards and retain the ones that you are going to be more valuable for the strategy that you're going for. But if I recall, and it's like I said, it's been a while since I've played this, it is a pretty fun and honestly, it's only an hour-long game. It plays really quickly. And its weight is 2.34, so not super heavy, just only a mid-weight game.
It's a Queen game, isn't it?
It is. It is Queen Games. It's rated at 7.3 on BGG with over 2,000 ratings. So yeah, it's one that is fun, especially for it's one that I like because you can get through it fairly quickly, especially like a 2-player game of it. Plays super fast, especially if you both know how to play.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, it looks nice, actually. I'm looking at pictures of it here, and I think it looks very good.
Yeah, I think you would like it, Doug. It's kind of, I mean, Queen Game did that treasure hunter that you picked up and quite liked. Yeah. And I think this is, Queen Games has that motto. They like to do it. Their rule book is the 3 fold pages.
Yeah.
And they try to keep all their rules in that same, which for better or for worse, is, makes or break your game, right? Because they either rush through that rule or put too much information in there. But yeah, that's one that I haven't played for a long time, but I would like to get that to the table again too. Another one that I played when it first came out, 2016, is Cry Havoc. And then it was one that I picked up at the swap and added it to my collection just recently, but not recent enough to get it played. But this is one that I'm not sure either of you guys are going to like. If I recall correctly, there's a lot of direct conflict, but we'll see, Doug, if you like it, how it goes. I'd like to get it played to get it to the table and play. It's a deck builder as well, deck bag building, and so this is, if I remember having a lot of fun with this, but I remember the other people not enjoying it as much, which is probably why I didn't pick it up back then. But I would like to give this another try. But again, I played it almost 10 years ago.
Yeah, it looks kind of interesting.
So I need to get that one out and get those rules read too. Shrink's already off that one, Andy.
Hey, is it punched?
Yeah. Well, the previous owner punched it, so.
It doesn't count if you didn't remove the shrink.
Oh, my bad. I thought I would be able to get away with
Wow, trying to take credit for someone else's work.
Yeah, you know me.
Holy cow, Nathan.
Andy has so many rules.
I know. It's kind of tough to keep up with that little mouth.
Hey, have either of you guys played San Juan?
Yes, I love San
I have
Juan.
not.
Did you order it with...
Yes, I did.
Okay.
With the
new Kickstarter?
Puerto Rico, yeah. Because...
Oh, you guys did back that.
Yeah.
Nice,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, no,
Cool.
apparently I upgraded to the San Juan as well. San Juan was a great
It looks
card
good.
game because you're using those cards as a lot of those games, right? Where you're using it as your life in your hand.
Right.
You're using it as resources to spend for stuff. And as you're collecting goods, you store it under your cards. I remember it being very enjoyable. And but I haven't played it since. So I'm looking forward to when this fulfills that I will be able to play that and get that to the table again. I can't even remember if I think I still have my old copy somewhere. It's been a long time since I've seen it.
You moved not that long ago, Nathan.
That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, it's pretty highly rated as well. It's 7.5 on BGG.
Yeah.
And it's one of those that, for a card game, maybe it's a little longer. So it's 45 to 60 minutes. But honestly, that's like the golden spot for me most of the time. If an hour-long game, 60 to 90 is usually what I prefer in a game, is something that's going to be hour to an hour and a half. But this looks fun. It really does. I can't remember if I got the copy of San Juan when I backed Puerto Rico.
I think we had the discussion.
Inclined to say I did not.
Yeah, I think that's what we resolved or decided, because there was a discrepancy in our prices that each of us paid. But yeah, as San Juan, I have the 2004 version. Did a reprint of it in 2014 and changed some stuff. And so I haven't played the newer version. I just have the original version. So I'm looking forward to seeing how what they included and what they used for the version that's gonna be coming with the Kickstarter. So, does that Pacific Attack? So one that I also recently ordered was Fantastic Factories. Have either of you heard about this one?
I have looked at this several times. It looks interesting. I'm not a huge fan of the artwork, but the game itself looks like it's really could be fun.
See, the artwork reminds me a lot of Machikoro, and I don't know if either of you have played Machikoro or what your feelings are on that, but
I don't remember the artwork, so
it's very similar to this.
It was probably one that was for me, kind of a meh.
And you're probably not wrong. It's not a life-changing game. This is a game my daughter really loved, though. You're rolling dice to try to collect resources. It kind of has a Dominion feel where you're trying to get cards to build. There's cards available in the market, and you can buy them if you have the money, and you can expand so that when the dice are rolled, that you have the opportunity to produce on multiple card locations.
Yeah.
And you can roll 1 die, you can roll 2 die, But that's Machikoro. We're not talking Machikoro. We're talking...
Fantastic Factories.
Thank you. We're talking Fantastic Factories, which has a much different look to it. Well, the mechanics look much different. It's still dice rolling, but it kind of looking at some of the cards without having much information on the rules, it does look like there's some similarities where you're trying to get numbers to gain resources, and then you're going to use those to, it looks like, to research, mine, matching bonuses. So this is one that I have an interest in for sure. Enough that I backed it. It's got 7.4. It's pretty good.
Well, it looks like it's an engine builder, right? So,
yeah.
Figure out it talks about how you can figure out the correct sequence to get some powerful chain reactions. And I love games like that. If you can get to where you have some options to build a really cool engine and get some synergies going with the cards you're playing, I think it has potential to be a really cool game. And like you said, it's rated highly. It would be fun to try.
Yeah. Well, you're going to have the opportunity.
Awesome.
So Furnace is a game that we've several of us own, that we were all very excited when it first came out. And then for some reason, it quickly fell off the radar. This is one that I really wanted to teach my wife, but I have long since forgotten the rules for Furnace. I need to go back and do a refresh on that. But you had the multi-purpose cards where you're using them to, as you do with most of these, as either resources or the action, if I'm recalling correctly.
Yeah, that's correct. This was one that we just frankly got a little burned out on because we played it really heavy for a few
short
weeks.
Time, yeah.
Yeah, I think I logged, I want to say like 6 or 7 games in just a couple of weeks of this and taught it to a bunch of people. We took it to Hug a Meeple South and taught it there. This was one that Logan really liked. We had the expansion mixed in with it. And it is a clever, fun little game, but we just kind of burned ourselves out real quick and we need to go back and play it again.
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea. Any others you guys got that you want to hit on?
No, not really. Kind of talked about most of them that are good here, I think. All right. Well, are there any others you guys wanted to talk about? There's some others on the list as we go down through here. A lot of them we were just talking, kind of behind the scenes here, but we've talked about a lot of these. There's some like Lacrimosa. That's one that I have like kind of a passing interest in. There's a few on here that I don't know what the multi-use aspect of them is, but they're ones that I wouldn't mind getting to the table. So hopefully that gives us a few that we can kind of put on our radar and maybe check out in the coming months. So
yeah, there are still some games that I would love to experiment with and to try. And I'm always like on the lookout for new games to play, and it always helps when there's a BGA implementation of it. That always pushes a lot of my purchases. But good stuff.
Awesome. Well, until next time,
we'll see you going through the library and finding some games that you should be bringing to the table at the game table. Can't say table right before you're going to say table.
I mean, you can. There's actually not a rule.
You just did, though.
I did, and it sounded wrong.
How's that different than any other time?
Well, you got a point there. You do have a point there. Sometimes
par for the course there.
My mouth moves faster than my brain. So.
Thank you for listening and being a part of Meeple Nation. If you would be so kind as to follow, subscribe, share, and rate or review this podcast, it really helps to spread the fun. You can be more involved in supporting the podcast by joining the nation at patreon.com/Meeple Nation, or you can find a link at the top of our webpage, meeplenation.com. And while you're there, look at all our extra content. There are links to all our past episodes, a wide variety of blogs, pictures from our Instagram feed, and bios for all the hosts and our awesome bloggers. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all under Meeple Nation. If you would like to chat with the hosts or other members of the nation, you can join our Facebook group, Meeple Nation Off Air. We hope to see you again at a game night, a con, or maybe a suspense-driven evening of werewolf. Thank you for listening and supporting Meeple Nation, and stay tuned for next week's episode.
Thank you so much for listening. We very much want to thank our patrons who help keep the podcast running.
I personally want to thank my co-hosts for all the help they provide with both content here on the podcast, in addition to what we have available on our website. Without them, the podcast would not happen. If you too would like to support the podcast, you can join the nation at patreon.com/Meeple_Nation, or you can find a link to Patreon at the top of our webpage, meeplenation.com. If you have any questions, comments, or games you feel should be on our radar, you can always reach us at meeplenation@gmail.com. We can't wait to hear from you. I am grateful to Doug and Andy who helped me edit episodes, and I want to thank James and Kim Clark who do the editing on our blogs and on our webpage, which can be found at meeplenation.com. We want to thank Brain Detergent for our music. If you want to find more from him, you can follow his links that can be found on our webpage, or simply search for Brain Detergent on YouTube to find more of his tracks. Thank you again for listening and being part of the Meeple Nation community.